Hi students, in today's activity we are going to look at how things grow, and in particular we're going to see yeast, because yeast itself is actually a type of fungi. So we'll definitely be using some yeast. We're going to use some sugar, okay, and of course to use the setup we are going to do 3 setups, all using glass cups, because glass cups are transparent, so it's easy to see the effect and the reactions. And other than that, we will also be using some amount of normal room temperature water, and we are also going to use some warm water, okay, and we're going to see the effect. Now let's start by first labeling our glass cups. So for here, what I'm going to have here is the A cup, to pour some warm water into container cup A, and some warm water into cup B, and cup C we're going to pour the normal room temperature water. Okay, just about a quarter of the cup for A, okay, and a quarter of the cup for B. Okay, so just make sure that they are roughly about the same height, okay, showing the same amount of water. For C, I'm going to use normal temperature water. Okay, normal temperature water. So you can see that the amounts are roughly about the same. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some yeast, and the yeast is going to be added, okay, with just half a teaspoon. Okay, I'm going to use half a teaspoon into all the containers, but for the sugar I'm going to add only to cup A. Okay, I'm going to add to cup A. Right, so now let's add the yeast. I'm going to open up the yeast from the container. Then I'm going to put just about half of a teaspoon into, first I put into C, half of a teaspoon into B, and another half of a teaspoon into A. So with A, B and C, with the yeast inside, okay, remember A is the one with the warm water, B is the one with the warm water, C is the one with the normal room temperature water. I'm going to add 1 pack of sugar into container at A. Okay, so 1 pack of sugar into container at A. Okay, so once I'm done with that, then I'll make sure that I stir them. Then we are going to observe what happens. Now let's have a look at the observation for the 3 cups of yeast and water solution. So for cup A, where we actually have water, yeast and sugar, you can actually see the surface of the cup, the first surface of the water having a layer of foam. This is actually the yeast, the fungi eating up the sugar that is in the solution, and they are actually multiplying and growing, and at the same time they are also producing a certain gas. That's why it actually becomes foamy at the top of cup A. Now as for cup B and C, you can see that there's no layer of foam forming at the top of the water or the solution in cups B and C, because there's no presence of sugar. Even with the water at different temperatures, it actually doesn't cause the yeast to grow at all. Okay, the yeast actually still stays in the water and doesn't grow because there's actually no food that is able to absorb in order to grow. So only cup A you can see the foam because that's the effect that the sugar actually gives as energy to the yeast that is inside the different cups. Okay, especially for cup A here with the sugar, but cup B and cup C, they do not.